entertainment. And he provided things for the kids to do while parents went shopping. So face painting, and he did things like karaoke competitions in the car park and drive-in movies and all this sort of thing to make life interesting. And they drew him in one day to the COO's office and said, "Gal, we'd like you to take on a team in cheese." He said, "Why? Why would you want me to take on a team in cheese? I'm a marketeer." And they said, "Because we think you can do it." And he said, "Okay, Judith, what could I have said?" The COO said, "Gal, we think you can do this and we will support you. What could I do?" So now I lead a team in cheese. And he did it brilliantly. What they'd done was they knew this guy is so good, if the minute he gets bored, he'll look elsewhere. And we do not want to lose him from Asda. So they didn't wait for him to get bored. They jumped him over incubation and they got him into drive again. This is why your inspirational managers are so important, because they're really going to help your high performers work so well, and now you need them more than ever. So, please, if you take away one thing from today, let it be that you need inspirational managers. You need to be inspirational managers in order to get the best out of people. And you will do that by looking to yourself and really living the values of the organisation, getting to know your people, finding what it is that will jazz them, what will light their fire so that they're really excited about the work. And in return, they will love your company, they will work really hard, and above all, if you do this now, they will be so loyal, they will stay with you when they could move, as soon as this recession turns around. So, any questions that you would like to put forward, any comments? We've just got a few minutes. I stunned you all into silence, or sent you to sleep. Does it make sense? Does it fit for you, what I've been saying? Do people recognise it for your organisation? Great. And have you got inspirational managers? How many of you got inspirational managers? Excellent. How many people here have worked for an inspirational manager? Oh, very good. How many have worked for 2? Okay. 3? You see, we don't have enough. That's fantastic. That's a really good showing for an audience of this size, but we don't have enough. You should all have worked for at very least 1, and hopefully a lot more. Okay. I think they are done. Thank you very much for listening.
Lunch, and I'd now like welcome Judith Leary Jones. Judith Leary Joyce. Judith is an inspiration on the subject of the employer of choice and all that means for an organisation. Taking a positive view, she talks about the business benefits of being a great place to work and providing a route map from her research of how to get there. Judith wrote Becoming an Employer of Choice after working on the Sunday Times 100 Best Companies to Work For in 2002, and then researching a range of the companies. Talking to everyone from the cleaner to the chief executive, she asked, what's it like to work here? Using copious stories of the real people she met, Judith will take us through the essential behaviours that lead to being an employer of choice organisation. Judith.
Well, Grace, lovely to see you all. I hope you've enjoyed your lunch and you're now replete and not about to go to sleep. I'll see if I can manage to keep you awake. So let's start as we mean to go on. What I want you to do just for a moment is have a think back in your life. And think back to a time when you had a real win, when you were successful, a real achievement. And just think about that for a moment. And you can congratulate yourself while you're going. And now think back a little bit further to what preceded that achievement. My guess would be that there was some equally major challenge, piece of chaos, time of learning that actually jolted you into a new way of looking at life. And that probably the success that you had was you rising up from the ashes or from the difficulty of the challenge. Does that make sense to anybody? Yeah, see some nodding around the room. I think that's how most major change happens. That actually we're going along and we're managing, you know that phrase we keep using about if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's so tempting, isn't it? We get familiar, we get comfortable, and we don't actually spot that things are not quite right. It is like that dreadful image of the frog in the water. You know that if you put a frog in boiling water, it jumps straight out. If you put it in water and gradually heat the water up, it just sits there looking around. And we are like that. It needs something to kick us out into change, otherwise we'll just sit there and gently boil. To my mind, this is what's happening at the moment. We are being kicked out of our comfort zone. And life is trying to tell us something, isn't it? So we've had a credit crunch, we've had the swine flu, now we've got a few errant MPs that are spending our money and upsetting us all. I wonder what the next thing's going to be. Life is telling us you need to change. Something has to change. And it may be that all that is going on at the moment is exactly what your organisation needs. In 2 years' time, you may look back and think, thank God for the credit crunch. Actually, it was exactly what we needed to help us drive forward. So in the hope of helping you understand how you can use this credit crunch to great effect, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to talk, as Heather was saying, about employer of choice, great place to work, and help you understand what that means and the benefits that will bring to your organisation. I'll also give you a route map you can use for your company and some ideas that you can pinch from other companies that you might be able to use. I'll talk a little bit about the significance of leaders and managers, because really this is what it comes down to. This is the important piece that we all need to take away. And then I'm going to end up telling you a little bit of my latest research, which is about talent development, and helping you see how can you make sure that you do the best by your serial achievers, because they are the ones that are really going to drive you forward as we come out into the upturn. But before I go into that, let me tell you about Charlotte. Charlotte Butterfield worked in a company called Bain, Knock & Clark, and she was one of the inspirational managers that I met. And when I talked to her about her management style and how did she work with people, she said, well, the thing you need to understand about me is that I was really rubbish to start with. And she was so bad, actually, that she had got to the point where the company were ready to get rid of her. And one of the senior managers said, look, I honestly think Charlotte is better than that. Let her work to me for a while and let's see what we can do. And Alison, her boss, spent a lot of time with her looking at what were the difficulties. How could they get round this? How could they work together to get Charlotte up and running? And she went with that. Talk about to kick up the